yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy E from the one EJS. And as you see, I'm rocking my Superman t-shirt. And so, for this video, before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe and share this video and see all the rest of my content that's here on my channel. And share and also comment if you enjoy. And just let a brother know if you like the content that I'm producing. So anyways, I want to talk about the Superman movie, okay? Superman movie directed by James Gunn, and I want to give you my official take on it. So get ready for spoilers, get ready for anything that might slip out, anything like that you might not want to, hear. If you've already seen the movie, get ready. I've already talked about it. But if you have not seen the movie, newsflash, spoiler alert, I'm giving you a chance to get ready. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Here we go. So, looking at the movie, starting out, it starts off with this a set of titles about Superman. It starts off, I'm just going a little off the cuff. 3 million years ago, it talks about metahumans. 3,000 years ago, it talks about this. 300 years ago, it talks about that. 30 years ago, it talks about this. 3 months ago, it talks about that. And then 3 minutes ago, Superman just got his butt kicked. Yeah. Superman instantly gets his butt kicked when the story kicks off. Which brings me to my first issue with the movie, the writing. I understand they want a more human Superman. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I actually like a more relatable type of Superman, to a degree. He has his trials and tribulations and struggles and everything like that. However, isn't with so much butt kicking, Superman need tape. And this coming from Superman, man, like I ain't going out like that, partner. We ain't finna do that. We ain't finna play that type of game. I would say my biggest critique with the writing is solely Superman just constantly getting humbled, or as we would say this generation, constantly taking L's. Yes, there's nothing wrong with him, of course. He can't win everything, I would say. But the only thing that should really hurt him, the only thing that should make him scream, the only thing that should make him just wallow in pain and do damage and make him shed blood is kryptonite. Kryptonite, 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 kryptonite. And don't get me wrong, kryptonite is in the story. You will see a scene in this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, where kryptonite damn near takes Superman up out of here. But I'll also say another issue with the writing was that it was a little packed. I know James Gunn likes ensemble casts. He likes teams. And I would say it was a little stuffed. You had Green Lantern in there, you had Hawk Girl in there, and you had Mr. Terrific in there. Now, don't get me wrong. Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion, he's going to do a good job as a comedic relief. He has that quick wit and personality and character. And I always like Nathan Fillion. He's a good actor. But the other superhero that I really enjoyed, though, was Mr. Terrific. That was a great introduction to Mr. Terrific. I would like to see more of Mr. Terrific. In my opinion, if they would have redone the story, it should have just been 90% Superman and then introduce Mr. Terrific in the story. Like 10% of the story could have been Mr. Terrific, him coming in, introducing the world to who he is, and then finish off with Superman's story. That's just my opinion. Hawk Girl really wasn't a strong factor in the story, except for like coming in and helping. It was just good to see Hawk Girl on the screen, but she was not the biggest, most important role. Green Lantern was Nathan Fillion's character. Like I said, a good comedic relief. But if I had to rewrite anything, if I had to take two superheroes out, it would have been those two. But they're in there. It's nothing like necessarily just too negative, but it was stuffed. It almost kind of lost itself and not became a Superman movie, but a Justice Gang movie. It's Superman. Stick to Superman. I love and I'm going to talk about the acting after this. Metamorpho, correct me if I'm wrong if I say his name right. Metamorpho is in the story. He's a vital reason on why Superman during there gets axed out in the story. And once you see it, his son, Metamorpho's son, is basically being held hostage, and so he has to do everything that Lex Luthor tells him to do. And he's doing it against his will. he does a good job being a little bit more of a sympathetic type of character, and he basically goes from villain to hero within the story. And then you have Crypto in there. Now, Crypto, some people say Crypto stole the show. Crypto was a good asset to the story. He had a good little spark of comedy, but I would say don't rely on Crypto so much. Like there's certain isms, a lot of directors have, and I know James Gunn has an animal type of thing. He has a thing for animals, and I would say do not go overbearing with Crypto. Don't Guardians of the Galaxy up Superman, which you kind of did, but you kind of make up for it in the next one, and this is the reason why my final grade is going to be what's going to be. You kind of make up for it in the next one. I'll say the movie did accomplish having me leave the theater a little bit more optimistic than going in. Okay, I left a lot more positive than I did going in. So it did that job, but I would say stick to the plot. Don't go too much. Don't dive in too many characters. Stick to Superman. Stick to Superman. This is not Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Superman. It's a much different aesthetic, a much different story, a much different structure. But the writing in the story, I will grade the writing as a 4.5 out of 10. It could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better. It was stuffed, and I'm gonna use a wrestling term, booked. It booked Superman too weak. Yes, there needs to be a moment where Superman does fall or lose, but not 90% of the story. But other than that, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you what saved it. The acting. I'm gonna go ahead and boost the grade for the acting to a 9 out of 10 because David Corenswet plays a darn good Superman. He did a great job with that as a clumsy. I would say clumsy, but kind of a square britches Clark Kent. But yet, when he turns to Superman, he's ready to go. He's ready to save the world. There are a lot of great, amazing shots. The dynamic with David Corenswet, I believe the actress name is Rachel Brosnahan, I believe, that plays Lois Lane. They have a great dynamic. Love their dynamic. I love the romance that they have. And they go into the story. They're already together. It's not like an origin story where they're trying to figure each other out. No, they're already 3 months into their romance. And so the acting is what makes up for the lackluster writing. And I will say, if anybody else had a very, very strong performance other than David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan, which shout out to them, that's a great sign on casting. They made up for it with the writing lacked, the acting made up for it. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Whether Lothar or Luthor. I'll say Lothar. Lothar or Luthor, I'm going to probably say both in this video. Lex Luthor. He did a damn good job as an obsessed, maniacal, psychotic villain who just wants to destroy Superman for whatever reason. The lengths he goes to destroy Superman's reputation, it was kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm like, damn, dude. I mean, like, what all did he do to you? Which, of course, we know in comic book lore why he's so obsessed with Superman. There's so many different reasons, so many different variations. But Nicholas Hoult did that. He did that as a villain. He was maniacal. He was psychotic. He was determined. And I cannot wait for him to be in later renditions of the Superman stories and really see him grow and season into the role of Lex Luthor. So I'm excited for that. That was a huge, huge, huge plus. So that's why I give the acting a 9 out of 10 because it helped elevate and bring out what the script had lacked. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the score of the movie. 10 out of 10. Musically, it was beautiful. It sets a tone. It sets an emotion. This is why I say certain bits of the writing, and I'm gonna be nagging about that writing. You can't put comedy in. You can't put James Gunnism comedy. There's a time and place for it. There were some comedic spots where the comedy bits were on point. Like, yeah, you got it. And there were other times it's like, come on now, don't overdo it. Don't overplay your hand with it. But musically, it was beautiful. It was intense. It was dramatic. It was optimism. It brought in that hope. There were certain chords or keys in some of the soundtrack that kind of remind me of Prince of Egypt. I mentioned that going out the movie theater review. I'm like, why am I hearing Prince of Egypt at certain points? It's like I'm hearing a certain chord progression, but then it goes to his own. But I'm hearing that. But very big, very beautiful, very majestic. So 10 out of 10 on the music and the score. 10 out of 10 on the visuals. I know I'm so tired tongue with this. The visuals are great. The color scheme was great. Like I'm rocking this shirt right here. I like this brighter blue and deep red. I love it. I don't want to knock on my set. I'm so excited over here. I really enjoyed the colors, how colorful this movie was. Very strong, beautiful colors. The locations. I remember seeing one scene where I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite shots where Superman and Lois Lane, they kiss and they embrace and they do like this spin, they spin around each other type of angle, which I thought was just beautiful and romantic and majestic. And shout out to movies this year. I'm noticing that romance has kind of made a comeback, or at least I'm paying attention to it more. It don't have to be necessarily mushy romance, but more so that dynamic between a man and a woman having that strong connection and fighting through it all. So shout out to movies like Mickey 17, shout out to movies like Hard Eyes, shout out to movies like Drop, and even movies like Superman that's bringing in that dynamic. Continue with that. You can have a great romantic story without being mushy, without being cringy, and without being suggestive and nasty. You can have that romance and that connection and that intimacy, and it really attracts the audience. So the visuals, I give a 10 out of 10. And now I'm going to talk about the suit. Superman's suit. The costumes. Mr. Terrific's costume, it fits him. It wasn't too big of a bother. Green Lanterns, I'm not too worried about. It wasn't too big of a bother. Hawk Girl, I wasn't paying attention. But Superman's costume, no. No. I couldn't get over it. I'm not bashing the costume department. It's just one of those irks for me, or maybe it's just my own personal preference. Y'all put in the comments if y'all agree or not. The costume does not properly fit him. It's like too boxy, and it's just not compared to, I'm gonna say it, compared to the Henry Cavill costume, compared to the Henry Cavill Superman, where it was felt and it just, you see every muscle and definition, and it wraps his body the right way. I can't, because like even the Christopher Reeve in the previous Brandon Routh Supermans, they were more leaner Supermans. They was just simply like the spandex and the suit and everything like that. But, they had to bulk up for it. Of course, David Corenswet had to bulk up for it. But to me, ever since Henry Cavill rocked the Superman suit, to me, that's like the new standard. The shoulders got to be big. The V-taper must be shown. Okay? Now, if you have the underwear on it, that's like here or there. As long as it doesn't take away from the suit, which unfortunately the underwear here takes away from it. It's too boxy. It makes it almost baby-fied. It's like the suit is kind of baggy. I'm just like, I just could not get over the darn freaking suit. And I'm like, I know y'all could do better than that. I would say my challenge to the costume department, even if you want to still use that same material, look at other renditions of Superman's costume to enhance and make him more imposing, I would say. To work on making him more imposing. Something that showcases more of a V-taper. Something that makes the draws or underwear of a suit less prominent, but more so you can still have that like a red belt buckle, or even have a red version of tights or something like that, but not so baggy, not where it looks juvenile or looks too off-putting. If I'm using the right wording for it. But that's basically my biggest critique with that. So costume-wise, I have to put that as like a 5. I would say play 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. I'm gonna be honest. 4 out of 10. It's like no. I couldn't get over it. I was rooting for y'all to see if maybe he would switch that costume like later on in the story. But that's my grade for it, for the costume. So all in all, let's go and wrap this up. I am going to give James Gunn's Superman a 7 out of 10. I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I walked out the theater. My opinion has not changed. And the reason why I gave it a 7 out of 10 is because there's room to grow. Is it a good movie? Yes. Is it a great movie? No. Is it a bad movie? No. Some people would consider it mid. It is in that mid range. It officially hits mid, but it's like upper mid. It's like really like you're one hair string away from getting out of mid and going to like downright good. I'm gonna put it as good because I did leave the theater more optimistic and more happy than I did going in. And that was mainly because of the visuals and the music and the acting. The writing and the costumes and it being like this really crammed in were the biggest turnoffs. Though if it wouldn't have been like that, it would have easily hit the 8 and 9 range. Would it made a 10 out of 10? You got a lot of work to do to get 10 out of 10. However, there's room to grow. I'm looking forward to future Supermans. You have me invested, James Gunn, so keep it up. I would say, as an actor myself, hopefully I could be in one of these movies. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully you don't use his review against me in the future. I'm just being honest, because I am a fan. But anyways, I'm looking forward to future Superman movies. I really am. I'm looking forward to what DC is going to bring in the future. Do I think it's going to be a momentum shift where DC might get more of the cinematic edge over Marvel? We don't know. Y'all got a lot of work to do on that. But we shall see. But that's the reason why I gave it a 7 out of 10. So it completes the job of making me feel better walking out of the theater, but you got a lot of work to do. So like the second Superman movie, make him kick butt 90% of the movie. Don't explain it. Don't say, oh, well, there's this, something, this, that, the third. He's just Superman. He just kicks butt. Don't explain it. Just have him go out there and kick more butt. Okay, and the only thing that weakens him is kryptonite. Like, he whooping everybody's butt. If somebody throw a rock of kryptonite at him, he just fall off out the sky. That's the only way you're going to do that next time. But other than that, everything was good. They did have Supergirl in there. Supergirl drunk. I don't know why Supergirl reminded me of Kesha if she was like a superhero. She had a little tidbit in there, you know. But, and they also have the robots. They have the number robots, like number 4 and number 12 and different things like that. I'm going to put them in there a little bit. The style of it, and that goes into the visuals of the movie. So I'm a little going off the cuff. That goes into the visuals of the movie. Beautiful Art Deco style. It's beautiful Art Deco style. But my rating for it is a 7 out of 10. So y'all be sure to go check out Superman so you can get your own opinion of the movie. It's your boy, the one EJS, who's also AKA Superman, man. And get ready for more Superman skits. I got a couple more to get before the summer is out. So catch y'all later. Peace.